When did you realize your friends weren't actually your friends? Part 2. After middle school, I realized that my friends weren't actually my friends since they'd spent basically the entirety of it bullying me and making my life a living hell. I was so used to being abused and mistreated. I thought that was what friendship was. It's unfortunate that the leader of it all got to live a good life, and I'm just fortunate that my friends from high school, who also knew this dude, believed me when I told them what kind of a person he was to me. When they chose to believe a rumor over me. Well, so and so said this about you. That was when I chose my own path, and those that wanted to keep me as a friend decided to do so. Fibromyalgia quickly showed me who my friends were/weren't. Becoming disabled was an eye-opening experience. When I had sex with a girl in a festival. When we went out of the tent the day after, they were all laughing at her for having sex with me. I was awkward and shy in elementary school. And this experience really didn't help. Around 3rd or 4th grade. So 8 or 9 years old. These two popular girls in my class start inviting me to play with them. I was surprised because I thought they didn't like me. But I wanted friends and said yes. They strung me along for weeks. Canceling at the last minute. Hiding mean, anonymous notes in my books. Giving me backhanded compliments. They only followed through on a proposed hangout twice. The first time, they would start a game together, and once it was my turn, claim they were bored and wanted to play something else. I caught them trying to steal the toy I brought with me. They tried to get me stuck in the tree house. But I climbed down the outside. Lots of little things that made it so I had no fun. The second time, the pattern began anew. So I stood up and started walking to the door. They asked me where I was going. And I said home. Because they didn't really want to be my friends. They were quiet as I left. I walked home and cried. Those girls bullied me all through elementary and middle school. Lost track of them in junior high. Couldn't care less where they are now. When they're only called you when they need something from you. When I stopped buying pot and alcohol for them and they disappeared. I came across an old mutual friend back in late 2016. We talked and caught up with our lives from a 10-year gap since we've seen each other last. Following year 17 through 18, he started turning things around and becoming a fake friend. He started asking for money at least once a month at first. Then progressed to every other week. Varying from $20. Then to $100. Then $500. Excuses were, I need it for my cell phone bill. Or I need it for a Mother's Day gift, followed by I need it for rent. Meanwhile, this guy was working at McDonald's full-time at $16/hour and living with his grandparents rent-free. I decided to cut ties with this person. When I became homeless overnight, only one person stuck around to help me. He had a go at me for never telling him about the abuse at home. And then gave me a hug. He's my best friend and he will be my maid of honor. I appreciate your replies to people. When I had a burnout 3 years back. Left my work. Went back to my hometown. And stopped initiating calls. Sending texts. And became inactive on social media. No one contacted me to check in even once. Not been in touch with them since. I got to the point where I noticed me and my best friend would only talk when I went out of my way to initiate conversations. I started feeling like I was bothering her, so I stopped texting her first to see how long it would take her to notice. It's been almost 6 years and she still hasn't noticed. When they need you to be there for them. But don't want to be bothered to be there for you. When my roommate decided to move in with my other friend who lives in the same apartment complex so that other friend could save money to buy a house, leaving me unable to afford rent anymore and unable to find anywhere else to live anywhere near what I had been paying. When I suggested we all three move into a 3BR townhouse and split it, their responses was, we just don't want to live somewhere with 3 people. Left me completely fucked and didn't care. Worst part was my roommate had a couple suicidal moments throughout the years, and hearing him constantly talk about how life sucked was such a downer for everyone else that it pushed everyone away, so I was the only one there helping him get through it, but he just tossed me aside, leaving me homeless and didn't care. Realized he'd been using me as a crutch the whole time and we were never friends. My best friend of 8 years stopped talking to me and conversations only happen if I message them. Kind of sad. They were bitter at my success and relishing my failures. /note, true friends do the exact opposite. After high school graduation, we naturally had busier and more separate lives. I then noticed that if I didn't reach out, we wouldn't talk. Even on my birthdays, I heard nothing. I would see them post on social media often and realized that we had very different values and views on life. This taught me that in grade school you're often friends out of convenience, not compatibility. Time does tell. When they greet you in the morning not with a good morning or hello. No what's up? No hey there. It's you got some weed. Like fuck. Dude. No, I don't have any weed for leeches. Ha, imagine a guy you came up with from a kid try to set you up to be murdered. I would never hear from anyone unless they needed something. Usually when they wanted it for free. So one of my friends, he talked to my girlfriend about wanting to meet her up alone and watch a movie or go to the beach together without me. My girlfriend told me, but I was too scared to tell my other friends, fearing they would hang out with me anymore. Later another one of my friends, got himself a girlfriend and after a while noticed he doing similar things to his new girlfriend. He, however, told me and the fourth friend S about it and we broke contact with he. I also told them about what he had done to me and that I didn't tell them because I feared they would stop hanging out with me. After a few months later O and his girlfriend broke up and about 2 weeks afterward both O and S were talking to E as if nothing had happened and I just stopped hanging out with all three of them. Pros. I grew as a person and I cut off fake friends. Cons. That was 2 years ago and I haven't had any friends since. When I said I couldn't deal with the stress of keeping in contact with my abusive rapist ex and they all said they didn't want to lose his friendship when I drew the line in the sand. Well, for one friend it was when he convinced me that one of my other good friends and housemate of ours was super toxic and making our bills cost a fortune. We are all broke uni students. Turns out my friend is the problem one and now I'm left trying to patch up a friendship while this fuckwad tries to make everyone hate me for calling him out. When I realized none of them ever want to hang out with me or talk on the phone, I'm pretty sure I don't have any friends anymore. When I moved, no one stayed in touch, even with me trying. When I started working from home, no one has checked in on me. Starting to think I'm just unlikable tbh. It was a slow burn. She was my best friend for years. In school we were inseparable. But she would make those snide comments and over time it got to me. She kept putting me down and I understood. We were both getting bullied. And she just needed someone that was below her. I thought if it would make her happy, I was okay with it. I could take it. Then we finished school and she met new people. And she seemed happy without me. And I was relieved. I could finally withdraw from her. And #X200B. Edit, to those worrying. I am slowly learning to distance myself from friends who do not bring anything good into my life. I still try to be open and understanding to everyone. But I won't put up with being bullied. My therapist once said something that stuck to me: you can't keep helping people if they drag you down. Because if you both end up in that hole, nobody is helped. When I realized that my two best friends just came over to mess with me and make fun of me together. Had major brain surgery in 2011 to remove a tumor. Spent 7 days in ICU. Out of the 10 or so good friends I had at the time, only one bothered to visit me. Turns out that the one I thought was like a brother told everyone else that I couldn't have visitors. The one friend that did come is the only one I kept contact with after recovering. Unfortunately he passed away 2 years back. Miss him dearly. When I got rid of Facebook, on the plus side, it did show me who the real friends were and who I was willing to keep up a meaningful relationship with. Never got invited to anything. I was always the persona to ask if I can join them whenever I knew they planned something. I was still friends with them as I started university and met new people. Just a few weeks in I got invited regularly to join the new people with something, and I even didn't consider them friends AF this time. So, yeah, made me think about my old friends. Today we only play some games together from time to time. It's rare but nice. But there is nothing more. And both sides doesn't care. Also, I'm having a great time with my new actual friends. I had one best friend when I was 12. A long way back. About 9 almost 10 years ago. Drama started, any newly teenage girls would, but it was different. She always blamed me. Played victim. Never once would admit she did something wrong. We had many falling outs. But they never lasted long and said it would be better. We went to different high schools and I met some other friends. Who were my real friends. She was insanely jealous. Tried to break me away from them. A few years down the road. After I left college. I became friends with a mutual friend of ours. A lot came to light. I learned all about the lies she said behind my back. I had proof of this, and when I confronted her, she would of course deny. On top of that, she would ditch me. Ignore me and be a bitch on and off. She'd be besties with one friend at a time and if there was drama with one she'd come crying to me. I still stayed. Last time we were friends. She met a guy and it became all about him. Stopped hanging out with me. Stopped talking to me half as much. Basically I was once again an afterthought. Something traumatic happened in my life, second hand for me but with someone in my life I'm very close to. She made it all about her and showed me she didn't care about me or my soul at all. Drama ensued and I dropped her for the last time. Been a whole year without TJ friendship now and it still sucks. 10 years I was tormented by her. I could go on for days about what she did to me. And it's pretty juicy. So yeah. That's that. Thanks for watching.